Good, good.
Hey, it's coming out the speaker now.
Okay, cool. Yes, we do this every Wednesday. Try to do it around about 9:15, 9:05. We try to do
Hold on 1 second.
those who new in here. But yeah, so we are on here just not entertaining, but giving information to the masses. Because a lot of times you don't know stuff, what's going on in the world, what's going on, and how it affects you or you as a whole. So it's
There we go.
important. Um, and we believe that's important for us to be in the know. There won't be any surprises, so we'll know the end.
Exactly. All right, family. Let's get into it. So, as me and brother Deuce talked about, we are talking about the U.S. Economy, the state of the U.S. economy, as well as what is going on in Haiti and Congo. But first, I want to give people an idea of what's going on right here at home in the U.S. Then we'll get
Oh,
more into Haiti. But one of the biggest things that we're looking at right now is really the debt, and that has been accumulating, ever since really the 1700s all the way up until now, and it's becoming a national problem because
true.
it seems like no one can rectify it, and it seems like every year or so that they're having issues on controlling it because recently they just postponed a government shutdown. As a matter of fact, I have an article talking about it, um, about the government shutdown and how they were able to avert it because over, I think it was in June or so, they were getting ready to shut down soon. All right. So the national debt, just for you, so y'all know, the national debt right now is 34,585,590,000, just to give you an idea.
Wow.
And that's not including what the debt per citizen is. Now the debt per citizen, what it's showing is 102,819, and the debt per taxpayer is $266,950.
That's crazy.
And in the U.S. spending is spending about, looks like about $6 trillion on its spending, and then the U.S. federal budget is going for about, I believe that's about, yeah, $1 trillion.
Mm.
And then it's U.S. federal tax revenue is looking at about $4 trillion right now, and that's $13,964 per citizen. So just think about how you have to calculate all that in, and then they're not even including, like a lot of people say, if they included Social Security, it would go up. And it looks like Social Security they spending about $1 trillion on that, and then the Medicare they're spending about $1,747,000,000 on
The
that.
crazy thing is those the Social Security money. That's the people's money who worked all this time. It's their money. So how you going to say they're spending it on? You know what I'm saying? How they say they spending it on there, and then how you gonna be in debt when you print money?
Exactly, which is one of the biggest things right there. Like if you printing the money and you're supposed to be keeping it, together or whatever, how are you going to sit here and say, "Oh, we don't have any more money to print," but this is supposed to be backed up by the natural resources? That
Right.
just goes to show you right there.
That's how you see like other countries are able to like got their own money, but they'll be able to pay for free healthcare, free like
Hmm.
if somebody want to go to school and
Hmm.
you know they go free free for education and everything. But it's crazy how the United States is one of the only places that you got to pay to get an education, and then it's almost you pay get an education, you get in debt to get an education, and then it is hard for you to pay that debt off
Yeah,
after you because it's hard to find a job in that field and then turn around and that is the only debt. So God forbid you have to do a bankruptcy. It's one of the only debts that does not come off of your credit, which is
exactly,
so that's something that's think about like, come on, y'all controlling it. At
exactly.
the same time, you know, he said we want change and stuff, but it's hard. I tell you what, one idea I heard, I said that'll probably get them to moving. Let the politicians earn the average salary of the state they represent.
Exactly.
Back to their hurry up versus they're doing a government shutdown but get their money. Like
Hmm.
here trying to get Medicare, Medicaid, different benefits, and trying to make it. You gotta be doggone near poor to even get help and benefits when you just trying to make it. And it's sad that nowadays you just trying to make it, and then we already know about how in some cultures they don't want us to want families together, as we see in the black culture.
At
Like
all.
there's an older gentleman that told a story about he was a young boy and remembered that this man of a different hue told him well his mama asked for his mama and his mom was in the house but the daddy was gone and they was really saying, hey, if I pay you an extra $15 or $20 a week, talking to the mama now, so your husband don't be there. How's that sound? And then they start thinking about the money, and then said the more that your husband is not there, like I continue to keep on paying the money. And he said that was the introduction of welfare. It's like breaking up the happy home, the black home structure. Just giving an idea. Not talking about like not just saying it's just there, but you see how
Right.
it fits. You see how it's kind of messed up and how it feels like it's not in your favor, but you're trying to make it.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
very true. That's true. Come on now.
You in debt. You almost in debt. You like how you in debt? Like straight out, straight out. But
Exactly.
you hear these things now about you start to hear these things coming to life about people are connected when they're born. They're connected with a bond and a trust and different things of that nature. And it's
Hmm.
they can't get, but if you look it up, it's connected to them. Like back in the day, um, the true free person was the ones who didn't have a social security number. But then when they placed the social security number, um, to that's a way to of control and to be able to not to really be you're not really free. You like they can find you by social. They can connect everything, all that debt and everything to you to a social number, like a work number. If you think about it, it's almost make you feel like a jail number because some stuff you can't get access to unless you reveal your what social security number.
That's right.
Yeah.
And see, that has become one of the biggest. So back to what I was saying about with the government shutdown, they had to avert that. This is an article by, let me go to it. This is an article by AP.news.com, and it says congressional leaders sell 1.2 trillion spending package to members before shutdown deadline. So it says so this was actually just recently done. Was updated today. It said congressional leaders from both parties look to put a positive light on a $1.2 trillion spending package that lawmakers are working to approve before the funding expires at midnight Friday for a host of key government agencies. The text of the legislation has not been released as of Wednesday afternoon, but lawmakers and aides were expecting an official unveiling later in the day or early Thursday. The package, which is expected to pass, will wrap up Congress' work on spending bills for the year and nearly 6 months after the fiscal year began. This year's dozen spending bills were packed into two packages. The first one cleared Congress 2 weeks ago, just hours before a shutdown deadline for the agencies funded through the bills. Now Congress is focused on the second larger package, which includes about $886 billion for defense and about a 3% increase from the last year's levels. The
Mm.
bill 3%. The bill also funds the Department of Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, Labor, and others, with non defense spending expected to be relatively flat compared to the prior year. Yeah, right. It says leaders would work to sell the package to members in a closed door meeting with GOP lawmakers in the morning. Speaker Mike Johnson described a few of the policy changes that the House Republicans were able to secure in the latest negotiations. These include a prohibition on funding for a United Nations relief program for Palestinian refugees that extends through March 2025. He also noted the bill funds 8,000 additional detention beds for non-citizens awaiting their immigration proceedings or removal from the country. The Homeland Security piece was the most difficult to negotiate because the two parties had a wild chasm between them, Johnson said at the GOP's Leadership Weekly press conference. I think the final product is something that we're able to achieve a lot of key provisions in and wins, and it moved in a direction that we want even with our tiny, historically small majority. Mm-hmm. The
Wow.
House is expected to vote on the second package on Friday, giving lawmakers more than a day to examine the legislation. But in doing so, leadership is bypassing the House rule that calls for giving lawmakers 72 hours to review major legislation before having to vote on it. They only got 72 hours to try to review all this information to see if they can so-called come up with a consensus of how they're going to handle this debt. It said that it's riling some House Republicans, but following the rule would surely invite some lapse in federal funding, even if it's just for a day or so for several key federal agencies.
Wow.
Once the bill passes, the House Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's a Democrat, said he will put it on the Senate floor. Even with the bipartisanship, it's going to be a tight squeeze to get the funding package before the weekend deadline, Schumer said. Democrats celebrate staving off the vast majority of the policy mandates Republicans have sought to include in the spending bills, such as restricting access to abortion pill, mifepristone, or better access to gender-affirming health care. We're exactly in the position that we know we're going to end up. Yeah, you got that right. We knew that the House Democrats, Senate Republicans, and the White House weren't going to tolerate any significant harmful cuts and crazy policy riders. The spending in the bill largely tracks with an agreement that former Speaker Kevin McCarthy worked out with the White House in May 2023, which restricted spending for 2 years and suspended the debt ceiling in January 2025 so the federal government could continue paying its bills. Now, let's pause for a second. Now, remember, like I said, they were trying to shut down the government back in actually of June 2023. So now, because Kevin McCarthy got kicked out of the speakers of the House because of his scandals and other stuff, I believe it was a sexual scandal or whatever, they're trying now to go back to come up with an agreement with the previous bill, which was restricting spending for 2 years to try to so-called help reduce the debt that they have accumulated over the years by at least January 2025. But let's not forget, family, what money do they have left? You printing all this paper, but you don't have no natural resources to back it. Hence why they're over inside the Middle East now, inside of Palestine, inside of the Congo, inside of Haiti, and all these other Sudan, Niger, and other stuff, raping and robbing and pillaging everything they have because they're trying to get rid of this debt. And it's one of the biggest things that's holding them hostage right now. Now, moving right along, it says we have had to stick to some difficult top lines and fight off literally hundreds of Republican poison pills, not to mention some harsh, almost unthinkable cuts proposed by House Republicans, said Senator Patty Murray, the Democratic chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee. But now we have a good bipartisan bill that protects absolutely essential investments in American people. Translation, their
Yeah,
investments.
there.
Because this ain't got nothing to do with you, brothers and sisters. McCarthy was ousted from the speaker's role a few months after securing this debt ceiling deal. 8 Republicans ended up joining with Democrats in removing McCarthy as a speaker, and some of those unhappy with the debt ceiling deal also expressed misgivings about the latest package. All right, it's going to go on from there, but I'm not going to read everything, but that's just a little taste of where we're at with the debt ceiling spending.